Hi, everyone. I'm just going to wait for my team and other viewers to join in before I start the live session. So team, once you join in, can you please confirm if you can see me and hear me clearly? All right, I'm just going to wait for a few people to join in and let my team confirm that I'm live. All right, I think it seems to be working fine. Team, can you confirm if I'm live on both Facebook and YouTube and that you can hear me clearly as well? All right, I've got a confirmation that all's good. So without further ado, hello everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to my live session for today. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it for my live session that was actually scheduled for yesterday due to some technical issues which never really seem to end. But I'm here today and hopefully it should, everything should go off smoothly. So this is just information for our regular viewers out there that we're now going to be having live sessions only once in a week instead of how we used to do it before, which was almost on a daily basis. So these will be carried out by me and my fellow licensed immigration advisor, Tulika Mehra, and we will be coming live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Unless, of course, there are some changes to the schedule, which you will be kept posted about, via our Facebook page. So please ensure that you do keep those slots free in your respective calendars and log in online and connect with us. All right. So if for some reason we're not able to carry out a live session or it does get cancelled like it did yesterday, then we will ensure that from our end we will post an update about that on our Facebook page. So make sure you check that out so that you don't miss any of the live sessions. Simultaneously, apart from the regular weekly live sessions that we will be carrying out, we will also be having webinars occasionally with different institutes, and these webinars will involve discussions with various industry experts. So I would definitely advise you to keep a lookout for those and register for these webinars because it's a wonderful platform for you to gain access to detailed information about specific courses and to get that information directly from the college representatives or various other experts in that field. In fact, the last one that we carried out turned out to be a huge success as we had a very fruitful discussion with the faculty of Lincoln University, where they spoke at great length about the Masters of Sports and Recreation Management. So if that sounds like a course that you would like to know more about, then I would definitely recommend you to just go view that recording of that webinar, and then you can also get in touch with us because we would love to kind of explain to you how to enroll yourself in that course and how to eventually make that move to New Zealand. So most of you who are interested in moving to New Zealand, I'm sure would have been following the news very closely. And of course, it's been remarkable to see how New Zealand has not just flattened but completely squashed the curve now. So New Zealand, I think on 13th May, effectively moved into alert level 2 of the 4-stage COVID-19 alert system. So life at alert level 2 is pretty much means that you can resume most of your day-to-day activities. But of course, you have to do that keeping in mind the different health and safety precautions and measures that one must take. So what can happen now in alert level 2 is that all businesses can open, provided that they're following the safety guidelines, very well. And this will in effect mean that people can go back to work. Education facilities such as tertiary education institutes, as well as schools and early childhood education centers are opening up as well. However, these institutes will be ensuring that the class group sizes, continue to remain small so that they're maintaining the social distancing, prerequisites. Also, unnecessarily roaming around on the campuses, etc., is also going to be something that's going to be checked, stringently. In fact, a lot of the institutes have also come up with a with a track and trace application, which I think students would be required to download on their mobiles. And this will kind of trace, the steps that they're taking or people whom they're interacting with, etc., and kind of basically enable them to effectively curb any potential risks. So these are some of the measures that are being taken place by institutes and the government as well. So it's a step in the right direction for sure. Basically, under alert level 2, you can also travel between regions, and you'll also be allowed to visit cafes, bars, and restaurants too. Apart from that, you can go for social gatherings, but there is going to be a limitation on a maximum number of 10 people in such gatherings, at least in the initial stages. So yeah, but this is great news because it basically means that New Zealand is returning to normalcy. So that's just a brief about the COVID situation and how it's impacting New Zealand. And in today's session now, I'm going to be talking a little bit about New Zealand School of Education. But before I get into that, just some simple rules to the session. So I request those of you who have any kind of queries to keep posting your comments or any questions that you may have in the comment section on either Facebook or YouTube. And I will be addressing those during the course of the session. Those of you who are already working with us, then I would definitely ask you to just state that you're an AJVN or you're working with a specific counselor or a visa officer, so that I can get the latest information on your case from them as well. And those of you who are not working with us and are new to the live session, then I would definitely ask you to leave your contact details or your phone number so that we can connect with you post the live session and have a more detailed chat than just simply talking to you via a public forum. Apart from that, I would also like to show you all my license card. This is my license card, and it's been issued to me by the Immigration Advisors Authority, which basically demonstrates that I'm competent enough to provide immigration advice under supervision. So yeah, now that we've gone over all the formalities, let's get to talking a little bit about NZSE. So New Zealand School of Education is basically part of the New Zealand Skills and Education Group, which has an industry-focused knowledge base. It's a PTE or a private training establishment, which basically means that it is privately owned and funded, as opposed to an ITP or a polytechnic, which is government owned and operated. What is also different in a PTE as opposed to an ITP is that PTEs specialize in certain subjects, and they usually tend to offer niche courses as well, where the primary focus is to gain employment right after finishing the course. So NZSE is headquartered in Auckland, and I think it does have about 4 campuses which are scattered around different regions in Auckland, and they also have a campus in the Waikato region. So the focus at NZSE is to ensure that you don't simply gain the technical and theoretical knowledge, but that you're also able to hone your soft skills, which is something that will definitely prepare you to enter New Zealand's workforce ultimately with a great amount of confidence. So it was founded in 2003, and it is also an NZQA Category 1 provider, which basically means that the quality of education provided by the institute is of course rated excellently. It also offers courses across various fields such as business, healthcare, IT, retail, security, etc. And one of the core philosophies of the institute is to produce successful and employable graduates. So I know a lot of people who are planning to migrate to another country without a job offer in hand are usually worried about whether they'd be able to successfully obtain a job or not. So, just to kind of give you that reassurance, the opportunities in New Zealand continue to remain ample and backed with a qualification gained locally within a country, especially from an institute that specializes in, transforming you into an employable individual. Your prospects look bright for sure. So talking about some of the programs that the Institute offers, one of the popular ones is the Diploma in Community Healthcare and Support, which is actually a level 7 qualification. In the context of the global pandemic, as we all know, that has just arisen, I think everyone's really well aware of the need to have a large community of healthcare workers present in each country for that matter. New Zealand specifically has a great need for people in this profession, given that the country does have an aging population. So this course is great for people who would want to, become a community healthcare worker, a health educator, personal care assistant, or work in the aged care sector. So the fees for this course is about $18,500. So that's it's a fairly competitive fees. You also have work placement provided at the end of the program, and at the end of the course, you can land up with a job that has pay equity. So that's definitely an added incentive. This course does have intakes in May, July, and September. So those of you who might be interested, please do feel free to connect with us and we can guide you further about that. Regarding the post-study work visa prospects, if you complete this course before 31st December 2021, and if you study it outside Auckland, then you will be eligible for a 2-year post-study work visa once you complete this course. And you do have the ability to study this course outside of Auckland because I think it is offered in the Waikato campus as well. So this is basically the post-study work visa is basically an open work visa that allows you to gain employment with any employer in any location, and you can undertake any job role. So it basically doesn't have any conditions or restrictions attached to it, and you have the ability to find a skilled job for yourself. You have 2 years to do that, and ultimately, once you do find skilled employment for yourself, you can immediately apply for your residence visa as well. So apart from this course, NZSE also offers diplomas in IT, software development, networking, and even business. With the business course, you could get into roles into sales and marketing roles, office admin positions, and even work as a project manager. And with the IT and networking courses, you could find yourself working as a software tester or a front end or back end developer, an IT technician, or even a network administrator. So the opportunities are plenty. The institute is great. It also has industry partnerships with major players in New Zealand, such as Fujitsu or Vodafone or even Microsoft and the likes. And NZSE also has program pathway agreements with 3 universities in New Zealand, primarily AUT, Massey University, and the University of Waikato. So you can get into bachelor's programs in these universities as well. So NZSE is primarily located in Auckland, which is of course the most populous city of New Zealand. It's also an IT hub, so there will be great employment opportunities for those of you who are looking to gain employment in that field. Of course, the living cost can be a little more high, if you're residing in Auckland, but you always have the opportunity to take up a part-time job on your student visa, which does allow you, to work for up to 20 hours a week. Alternatively, you could also focus on the courses that NZSE does offer in the Waikato region. That would also give you an added 30 points for your residence visa if you do find skilled employment there. So yeah, that's just a summary of the institute and the kind of opportunities that one could avail should you choose to complete a course from there. And now I'm just going to take a look at the questions, if at all there are any that have popped up. All right, so there do seem to be some questions. All right, so we have a message from Girish who said, hi Girish, it's nice to hear from you. If you have any queries, please feel free to, just drop us a message, or you could even just, paste your contact details so that we can connect with you post the session and ask you if you have any questions, regarding moving to New Zealand or any specific courses. Sudhindra has also said, hi Sudhindra. Thank you for your message. Sudhindra has left his number and said, I wanted to know if my wife could do a PGD or master's in any of the colleges if she's got 53% in her engineering and doesn't have a work visa. All right, Sudhindra, I'm guessing your wife is based in India. And if she is, yes, there are, plenty of opportunities to pursue courses. In fact, engineering is a great option. So if she would like to do her PhD or master's in a relevant field as to her previous qualification, then that would be great, because practically all positions, of engineering do fall under the long-term skill shortage list, which is basically a list that has been prepared by the New Zealand government, anticipating an ongoing and sustained demand, in certain professions and different fields. So practically all forms of engineers do come under that long-term skill shortage list. So it would be great for her to pursue a PhD or master's there. Of course, different institutes or universities could have different eligibility criteria. So, now that you've left your number, one of my study advisors will definitely get in touch with you, and they can assess her profile and help her ascertain which college would be suitable to, apply for a course at. Thanks a lot for your query. I'm just going to see if my team has said anything. Okay. Yeah, so I also have a message from one of my team members which states that university does expect you to have 65% or above in your academics. So you might want to just consider a master's in research rather than a you've anyways said a PGD, so that's fine. All right. Prayag has sent a message saying for diploma civil engineering can spouse apply together. Prayag, I'm not really sure. Your question is not very clear. So if you could just please leave your number and also just rephrase your question, I'd be in a better space to answer that. Thank you. Sudhindra has said, because I heard that there is no college which would accept if the percentage is less than 65. Please suggest what would be the right path for us to move to New Zealand. And also, do we need to write additional papers to obtain points if we have to apply for PR? All right. So I've been told by my team that it's only for a PhD that you would require 65% or more. So I think it should be fine. She should be able to apply for a PhD or master's. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. So once you do have a word with my counselor, I'm sure he or she will be able to, give you some more details around it. But I don't see this being an issue at all. So definitely, just wait for a call from one of our counselors, and I'm sure they'll be able to clarify your doubts. Also, you've written about, do we need to write any additional papers to obtain points if we have to apply for PR? No, there is no such requirement. The points that you gain for your PR are based on certain factors such as your age, your previous work experience, the qualification that you have completed. You do get some bonus points if you've completed a qualification from New Zealand. And of course, points for the employment that the employment offer that you have, and also some bonus points if you do end up finding skilled employment in Auckland. So that's just a brief of the things that are looked at when gauging the whole points criteria and whether you do meet the 160 points requirement. So you are not required to do any additional papers which would give you any additional points. So I hope that just answers your question. All right. We do have a message from Zuhi, who said that, hi, this is Zuhi, AGB client with Lydia and Noella. Can you please clarify offshore online study, any mandatory requirements? Let me just check whether my team has posted anything about this. Zanofer, all right. All right, Zanofer, thank you for your message. So as of now, there is nothing set in stone at this point, but institutes are actively working on figuring out how to, come up with an online to on-campus program. So some of the institutes have in fact rolled out information around this. I'm not sure which institute you're applying to or what their regulations are, but just to give you a brief idea, some of the colleges have said that they would probably increase the duration of increase the duration of the semester to ensure that the 30 weeks requirement is being met, to ensure that you can get the post-study work visa. Also, you will not be requiring a visa to study the course online, which basically means that you can start studying your course online without the visa. They're also giving you, some leeway in paying the fees. So what some institutes are doing is that, you can start pursuing your course online, and after say 7 to 8 weeks, you might have to pay the fees. All right. And some institutes have also said that once you do eventually have to apply for a visa to, come onshore, and in case your visa gets declined, then they'll also give a full refund. Okay, but now this can vary from institute to institute, so I can't really guarantee anything. But what I can suggest is for you to just stay in touch with your visa officer, and I'm sure, as and when new information kind of comes out to us, we'll definitely convey the same to you. So just stay in touch with her on that. Thank you. All right, Mohammed has written, hello, is a master student research basis can attend lectures, or is it just research only? Thanks. Mohammed, you've not left your number. I would definitely ask you to leave your number so that we can answer a question in more detail. However, if your course is Masters by Research, then usually it is totally research based. But some of the masters may have a 30 credit foundation course as well. So I hope that answers your query. And I would love for you to just share your number so that we can connect with you post the live session too. All right, Binex has written, hi, I'm an AGV client. I would like to know about the process. Can you help? Hi, Binex. Thanks a lot for leaving your number. We can definitely connect with you on call and have a one-on-one conversation and explain the process to you in detail. But essentially, we're an education and migration consultancy. If you're interested in a student visa or perhaps any other category of visa, I'm sure we will be able to help you. For student visas, we do help out with the admission process as well. We help prepare your visa file. We liaise with Immigration New Zealand until the time that you get an e-visa. We also have a team based onshore in Hamilton. So that's in fact like one of our USPs, because our engagement with you doesn't end right when you get an e-visa or when you move to New Zealand. We continue to speak with you and we continue to engage with you and help you out while you're staying there as well. And post that, if you choose to avail our services for a post-study work visa or a residence visa, we'll be more than happy to help you. So it's a long-term relationship, and I'm sure one of my counselors can connect with you today and provide you with more information in that respect. Thanks a lot for posting your query. All right, we have a message from Mohammed, who's written, which university is better for international students, AUT or Victoria University? Mohammed, thanks a lot for your message. Again, you've not left your number, so I would definitely, let me just check if you have at some point. You're asking a lot of questions, but you're not really leaving your number. So I'd request you to leave your number and then I'll get back to your question. Thank you. All right, we have a message from Aniket Chaudhary. Ma'am, I'm a travel graduate currently working in the travel sector. Any scope on travel future in New Zealand? Thanks, Aniket. Again, I would, guys, those of you who are watching this session, I would really request you all to leave your contact details here, because I'm not going to be able to answer any of your questions in detail. Also, you leaving your number here would also demonstrate your seriousness, about your plans to move to New Zealand to us as a team. We would love for it to be a long-term engagement rather than, you just popping up here and dropping in a message, just because it's a fleeting thought. We're not going to compel you into moving or, doing it overnight or making that transition overnight. It's just a chat that we would love to have with you once the live session is also completed. So this is the only reason that we encourage you to share your number, so that we can have a more one-on-one kind of a personal level conversation. So just a reminder, those of you who are not working with us, please do leave your number. Anyways, Aniket, to answer your question, New Zealand's tourism and hospitality industry is expected to be worth $41 billion by 2025. And to reach that goal, the sector does need an extra 36,000 full-time workers. So once the border opens again, New Zealand will be, a very sought-after destination. The tourism and hospitality sector is a really eminent part of New Zealand's overall GDP and revenue as well. So it's a great field to kind of pursue perhaps a course in or look for job opportunities. And so I'll definitely encourage that. And if you do choose to leave your number, then we'll be able to guide you further. Thank you. Okay, let me just see if my team has said anything. Okay. Next question is from Harihar, who has said that, ma'am, Harihar, yeah, I'm interested in your norms. I'm electronic engineering. Please tell me how to apply work visa. Thanks a lot for your question, Harihar. Once again, you've not left your number, which I'm disappointed about. Please do leave your number in the comment section again. Anyways, regardless, I'm answering your question. To cut the long story short, it's not very easy to just directly apply for a work visa, especially if you're not based onshore. This is because New Zealand employers do tend to give preference to people who do have a valid visa in New Zealand. Rather than offering employment to someone who doesn't hold a valid visa and who's not present in the country. Because of course, number one, the documentation requirement for a work visa is quite extensive, and number two, the processing time frame can be lengthy. So they would much rather just choose someone who's readily available to work rather than someone who would they would have to really wait for. So that's one of the primary reasons why it's not very easy to directly gain employment when you're not based in the country already on a valid visa. Which is why the best thing that one could do is perhaps pursue a course in New Zealand, because that would end up giving you a local qualification in New Zealand. It gives you time to forge your professional connections as well while you're studying there. You can easily do part-time work there and gain some experience. And once you've completed your course, you will have a post-study work visa. And if you do a high-level course like a PGD or a master's level course, you'll get a 3-year post-study work visa. So that gives you sufficient time, to find employment in New Zealand, while you're there on a valid visa. So that's the pathway that we advise most of our clients to take, and it's worked. It's worked wonders for them. So if you're interested in that, then we can definitely guide you further about it. But we will be requiring your number as well. So just feel free to drop that in if any of this interested you. Thank you. Um, All right, Ankit has written, okay, hello. My ex is thinking of coming to New Zealand but is skeptical about visa processing for Feb 2021. By when do you think she should start the process of admission and such steps? I'm a current, of course, AJ. Ankit, hi, thanks a lot for your query. I'm really glad that your friend is also choosing to, move to New Zealand. So what we're anticipating is that the borders should definitely open, by Jan or Feb 2021. That is what we are anticipating for sure, because the country has definitely, curbed the situation well. So they might in fact open it up, and they might have some quarantine facilities opened up by institutes there, or whatever the arrangements may be. But New Zealand is also highly reliant on its international students, so they would not want to lose out on the kind of money that that they gain from it. So we are anticipating that it will open up by then, which basically means that it's the right time now to approach us to start the admission process. And of course, we'll keep guiding them on the latest information and the updates, and by when they should apply for a visa. But it's always better to start off earlier than be, scrambling for time at a later stage. So, all those of you who are watching, whether you want to go next year sometime in Jan, Feb, or even June, July, approach us right now, because it takes time to sort out your documentation. It takes time to work on things like funds, and it's best to start working on those things at the earliest. So I hope that answers your question, and we would love to connect with her. So if you could just share her number, that would be great. Thanks, Ankit. Um, okay, there. Okay, moving on to the next question. Okay, Harihar has shared his email ID. Thank you, Harihar, for sharing your email ID. We'll definitely connect you on your email then. Thanks. Okay. Then we have a message from Vipan Dhiman, who has written, any news regarding essential skills visa? Okay, Vipin, firstly, you've not shared your number, so I would really like for you to share your number. Okay, other than that, this is just a slight update for everyone. So right now, 70% of onshore immigration officers are able to work at this point, and that is only likely to increase, of course, now that New Zealand has entered into alert level 2. However, all offshore offices are remaining closed for the time being. So there has also been a list of prioritization of applications. Basically, they are going to be prioritizing onshore residence visas, and then they'll be looking at the offshore residence visas. Within the onshore residence visas, they're also going to be prioritizing those applications where the applicant has an occupational registration, or where the applicant is earning about $51 per hour, which is twice the median wage, basically. And for temporary visa holders, the priority is still being given to those who are based onshore, and particularly people, applications for essential workers, to support the government COVID response. So that is the situation as of now. They have not yet suspended the ability for offshore students to apply for a visa, so you can still lodge applications at this current at this point in time, but that may change. We're not very sure about that yet. Now, as for your questions, any news about essential skills work visa? I'm not sure. I mean, if you're based offshore, then it's highly unlikely that they're going to be looking at it at the moment. Also, if you're, I don't know if you've applied for it or if you're interested in applying for it, again, essential skills work visa is it's a difficult category of application to for you to meet the requirements in, primarily because the New Zealand employer is required to show that they've made sufficient genuine attempts to recruit or train New Zealanders before offering you the job. All right. Apart from that, also, there are really stringent checks that are carried out on the employer, where the employer needs to be assessed as sustainable and compliant as per the New Zealand employment laws. So it's a lot of hefty documentation and work, and a lot of requirements for the employer and you to meet, which can be very difficult for a lot of people. It's also not easy to get an offer of employment if you're based on offshore in the first place, like I just mentioned a little before. So basically, the ideal thing for you to do is just leave your number so that we can actually understand what your situation is, and then we can guide you further. Thanks for that. All right. So the next question is from Neha, who, yes, is our client. Okay. Hi, Navya. I'm an AGV client with Anne. Can you provide clarity on the current situation for international students? I read on the INC website that they started processing student visas, but in another portion of the website, they mentioned how, since the borders aren't open yet, offshore students are advised not to apply for the visa and to look at online classes as an option. I have an offer for July intake from Fit Area. Thanks in advance. Okay, Neha, I mean, I might have answered your question in, what I was just saying a little before as well. But just once again, right now, the offshore offices are not open. They're not really processing student visas for offshore applicants. The onshore office has opened. There's about 70% of staff present there. They are prioritizing applications of those people who are based onshore. All right. So yes, as of now, the situation is a bit tricky because we're not sure whether the international borders will open in time for you to make it for the July intake, which means the only other alternative is for you to perhaps consider, going for the online to on-campus option. All right, which basically will, I think the college that you're applying to, they would probably be providing you with updates. I'm sure Anne will, have a word with you about that, on how to go about it. Or the only other alternative would be for you to defer your intake to a time when the borders do open. All right, so I hope that answers your query. If not, then I definitely will have a word myself with you and explain it in more detail. Thanks for your message. All right, so Varsha has written, hi, my husband is an AGV client. Please advise if Waikato University will extend its July session. He has opted for Masters in Digital Business. Okay, so there is no update on the intake being deferred yet. I mean, if we do receive an update, we'll definitely pass it on to you. But most of the institutes are adopting the online method of learning as of now, like I've just mentioned, during the course of the live session. So, we'll definitely speak to your husband and tell him what his university has come up with, and accordingly, we can kind of make a decision or proceed on his application, right? Thanks for that. In fact, I think Sajita is all right. Okay, so apparently, okay, your husband is Aditya Dhawan and Sajita is the study advisor. So that's great. And she's written that he's planning for October 2020 or Feb 2021 intake. Still discussing whether going for this course or some other course. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, I think if he's planning to go for October 2020 or Feb 2021, then it shouldn't be an issue. We're hoping that things will improve by then or borders will open in time. So just stay in touch with your study advisor and she'll keep you posted on the current situation. All right, then we have a message from Dushyant Nair. As New Zealand has come down to level 2, so will they start accepting the student visas? Um, Dushant, I really can't say right now because as great as it is that the situation has improved in New Zealand, um, we would also like for the situation to improve in India so that, the offshore offices can open because that is originally where, the applications that you lodge will be assessed. I'm not sure if they are considering transferring the caseload to New Zealand. I'm really not sure about that because we've not yet received information about that. As soon as we do receive that information, we will inform you guys. This is why we host these live sessions in the first place, so that we can give you the latest updates, on a weekly basis. So that is a possibility, but then again, the Indian market has its own risks, which perhaps the New Zealand team is not well equipped to understand or deal with. So perhaps it's likely that they're going to wait for the Indian embassy to open up, before those applications can be processed. So right now, there's no news about that. What the current news is that colleges are just starting off their courses online. So that just seems to be what's happening at the moment, right? I hope that answers your query to some extent. If not, I can once again, either the visa officer or I myself will connect with you post the session, right? Thank you. Okay. We have a question from Mohammed Shahta. Mohammed Shahta, you have not left your number. Let me check if you have. Mohammed Shahta, can I please ask you to leave your number? Okay. Anyways, you've asked how many years of work visa will be allowed after finishing PGD level 8 at AUT. So Mohammed, the quick answer to that question is that you will be able to avail a 3-year post-study work visa. All right. I hope that has answered your query. Okay, you have left your number before previously, so okay, that's great. I seem to have skipped some questions in between. Okay. All right. Yeah, thanks, Mohammed, for leaving a number. So basically, after completing a PGD at AUT, you can obtain a 3-year post-study work visa. That does give you sufficient time to, search for any kind of job that you would be interested in. So yeah, we will have one of our study counselors as well connect with you today. Thank you. I have a message from Vinny Chandra. Vinita Chandra, and she has left her number and said that my husband is in New Zealand and me and my son are still waiting for visa. Could you tell they will give us visa? Let me just see if Vinita is our client. Team, could you please confirm if Vinita is working with us or not? Doesn't seem like it. Um, okay, Vinita, you've shared your number so we can connect with you and discuss that. But you said, all right, you if you've applied for your visa right now, of course, I mean, like I just mentioned in the live session before, right now offshore offices are not open. I'm not sure where your application is being processed, so I can't really say. But at the same time, even for temporary applications, they are prioritizing applications of those who are based onshore. So it's likely that you'll have to wait a little more before receiving an outcome on your application. Thank you for sharing your number, and we'll definitely get in touch with you. Neil Joseph has an interesting question. What is the maximum age limit to study level 8 in New Zealand? Neil, so the great news is that there is no maximum age limit to study level 8 in New Zealand. You're never too old to study, is the policy that's followed by the country, I guess. But we've had clients as old as I think 50 or even a little older than that, going for a level 8 course in New Zealand. All right, so that should give you an idea of the kind of age groups of people that do travel to New Zealand to study. So, if you're worried about that, I'd suggest not to be. And, definitely leave your number so that we can connect with you and guide you further. Thank you. I'm just going to have some water. There seem to be a lot of questions today, but that's great, of course. I'm just going to have a quick read of what my team has sent me as well. So we have a message from Mehfaz, Fazal Muhammad, who said, "Hi, madam, I'm Fazal Muhammad from Sri Lanka. My wife is a degree holder in BSc. Kindly give us to apply visa for both of us. Also, she's a government teacher now." Okay, thank you so much for sharing your number. We'll definitely, have one of our study counselors contact you and see, what the complete profile looks like and what the background is and what your wife is perhaps interested in pursuing now. But just some information out there: to be able to teach in New Zealand, you do need, occupational registration with the Teaching Council of New Zealand. You're also required to meet a high level of, proficiency in English. And so yeah, if you do, we can, she may have to basically embark on a pathway course in teaching and learning. But before kind of giving any advice around that, I definitely recommend you to speak to one of our advisors who can perhaps understand your profile as well as your wife's profile better, and then suggest a course accordingly. But thanks for writing to us. We'll definitely connect with you. Okay, I've answered Mohammed's question. Okay, there's a question from Aditya Dhawan, which again, I think your wife had asked the same question, so I seem to have answered that already. Um, Mefaz has written that she's looking for a PGD in education. So, Mefaz, that might not lead to registration, which basically means that she may not be able to teach after pursuing that course. So, just wait for a bit, speak to one of our counselors, and let them, assess the profile properly, and then suggest a course, which will also ensure that she's able to actually perform the duties and the tasks that she wants to go to New Zealand and perform, right? So just hang in there, and one of our counselors will definitely connect with you and talk to you in more detail about it. Thank you. Um, so Vipin Dhiman has written that for essential skills visa holders whose employer don't have work for their employees. So in this scenario, what to do? So in this scenario, what to do? Um, Vipin, I'm sorry, but I didn't quite get your question. You'll have to just rephrase that question a little bit, and also please leave your number, and maybe we can have a chat about it in more detail because this category of application is as it is a little more complex. And also please leave your number, and maybe we can have a chat about it in more detail because this category of application is as it is a little more complex than the other visa categories. So, perhaps me or another LI can speak to you post this live session and understand what your actual question is. Um, okay, there's a question. Okay, there's a question from Rudresh. Intake from AUT. Will it be postponed? Hi, thanks for your query, Rudresh. So, like I've mentioned in the live session, that a lot of the colleges they're not canceling the intake, but they're starting the course online. So you might have to do one semester of the course online, and then as and when the borders open, they'll probably bring you into the country, and at that time you'll have to apply for a visa. Okay, so this is it. Obviously, the rules and the policies around it are varying between institutes. So if you are working with us, which I'm not sure if you are, if you're not, then definitely leave your number so that we can give you professional help and advice, upon this. Because right now the situation is such that I do feel that students who are applying through agencies are definitely going to be in a better position because you do require this, that kind of constant guidance and professional help at this point, to make sure that you're updated with all the latest information. So if you don't already have an agent, even if you do and you're not too happy with them, definitely just okay. Second, that's a longish question. Um, team, could you please confirm if you can see my video because it seems to have gone off on Facebook, and I'm not sure if I'm still live or not. The YouTube live still seems to be working, but I don't seem to be live on Facebook. Team, can you please confirm? Okay, I'm just going to assume that you guys can see me then because I think my team is able to see me. Just a second, please give me a second. Sorry about that. So Methili has said that what about August 2020 intake at EIT? My IELTS is pending. I have a conditional offer. What arrangements could the institution do for us to start, or should we defer? All right, Maithili, if your IELTS is still pending, then different institutes have also come up with alternate options. Like I think there's a TOEFL online, which is accepted by a lot of institutes and is also accepted by INZ. So that is an option that you could perhaps look at. But before you do that, I would definitely ask you to connect with your, study counselor, who will let you know whether this is indeed accepted by the institute or not, because it does vary across the different institutes. So that is something that you can look at. But I would suggest you look at this intake if you are comfortable with it being online, because I really don't think that the borders are going to open for the July, August, September intake. All right. So if you're keen about starting it online and you're keen starting it right away, then you could perhaps consider giving an IELTS or an alternate test that the institute accepts online, get your unconditional offer, and then perhaps start the course. So that's just to answer the first part of your question. Okay. You've written that I've chosen a 2 years master course. What if I choose to drop out of the course after 1 year? Will they refund, or what are the rules? My husband will be coming on my dependent visa, but what if his company offers to give PR? Can we switch from me being the applicant to my husband being the applicant through his company? Confusing question, but I hope you got my query. Um, Okay, so into it, so the institute may be able to, give you more info around that. That's to answer the second question. And your third question. So you're saying that if your husband is coming on a spouse visa, and then if his company offers him a skill, a good job offer, which is skilled employment, he can apply for his PR, and then you can be included in that application. Yes, that indeed can happen. So, but of course, I mean, before I give any kind of confirmation like that, once you're onshore, you can always, and if such a situation does arise, you can get in touch with one of our licensed immigration advisors. That's why we have a team of right now 5 licensed immigration advisors, and it's only the numbers only going up. There are a lot of them in the making at the moment. So you can definitely get in touch with our onshore licensed immigration advisor, and they'll be able to assist you depending upon the circumstances at that time, right? So I hope that answered your question. Thank you. Okay, we have Krisholik Rishikesh, who says, Hi, Age Avian, received offer letter from Unitech for July intake. Any information about must be really bogged down by, the situation, and you're a bit unsure about how to proceed. But the best thing to do is just stay in touch with your study advisor or visa, or your visa officer. Okay, and they will provide you with the updated information or the latest on what's happening with each institute or university and what are the steps that they're taking. And then perhaps once the borders open, you can apply for a visa and then move on campus in New Zealand as well. So that's the situation as of now. There's just constant changes happening, so it's important for you to just stay connected with us, and we'll keep updating you as and when we get additional information. So I hope that answers your query. Thanks for dropping by at the live session. Um, Rohit Sharma has written, if I come to New Zealand, can I trade in US stock market with a student visa? My email is this. Rohit, I mean, I don't think there should be an issue, but I'm not 100% sure. Perhaps, I can get that information and then confirm to you. But I mean, if the trade is online, it shouldn't be such an issue. But you've left your email ID, so we'll definitely connect with you and provide you with more information around that. All right. Thank you. To do to be registered, a registered teacher, and you can go on a GD level as well, and even a master's level. So of course that depends on your prior qualifications and experience as well, and what you would be eligible for. But even a GD level should be fine. So I hope that answers your question. Hi, Sagar here. I'm an AGV client already. Just keen to know how long are the visa processing times. So Sagar, the visa processing time frame had actually dropped down considerably for a student visa right before the COVID situation, unfortunately, took place. So the visa processing time frame had almost come down to a month or sometimes even lesser. If you apply to a university, in fact, applications are assessed on a priority basis, and they were rolling out decisions on those. Basically means there's a hold on the processing of the applications. So as of now, we don't have any information on when they'll start processing those applications again. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But as and when we do get that information, we'll definitely provide you all with that update. All right, so I guess we will aim to provide you with more clarity on the current status with the education institutes and at INC as well in the next session. So thanks a lot for attending the session, and yeah, see you next time. Thank you.